Yeah, thanks a lot for taking the time out. Let's start. I think so. Peter, to begin with, very curious to kind of find out as to you know when was the time that you like started to use Cosmos back in the day? How long have you been using Cosmos for?
I wish I'd know. I actually, actually, let me just. You can probably cut this off, really. But it was September. That's it. September last year is when I first started using it.
Wow.
So
And
yeah,
mhm.
October, November, December, January, February, March. So like 6 months, six
Six
months or so.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. And just now that we are making you jog your memory very early on in the day, how did you get to know us? Where did you hear about Cosmos?
Yeah. So when the kind of lockdown happened, I was trying to just find a different. I mean, our team members are all virtual anyway. We're all like around the whole world.
Uh-huh.
Uh, we have guys in China, South Africa, Mexico, Canada, India, and the UK. So we're all over the whole world. So we've never had an office, a real office in a way. But
Mm-hmm.
our team was expanding, and then I was thinking of ways that we can manage our time together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think one of the biggest frustrations is creating these meetings like on Zoom or whatever. I mean, we never used to use Zoom, but like, creating those meetings, and everybody needs to have the meeting link and all that. It just got a bit annoying. So I
Uh-huh.
was trying to find different ways, and then I was just googling, and then I found Cosmos through Google, really. um, and then yeah, I really liked the layout and how easy it was to set up. That's what really hooked me in, really.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Amazing. And now this is something which you mentioned earlier again, but let's repeat it for the audience. Like, tell us a little bit about your company, where you based,
Yeah,
what you guys do.
yeah. So Divi Engine is we build premium plugins for
Mm-hmm.
WordPress, and we focus solely on the Divi theme, which is a theme that you can buy for WordPress.
Uh-huh.
So we kind of narrow our target audience down just to a small minority of the WordPress market. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, so we build premium plugins, and they're quite complicated plugins. So they've got to do with like e-commerce stores or like dynamic stores, it's like car listing websites. You can make all that kind of stuff without having to
Mm-hmm.
code. So we basically just like um, take Divi, and we just like add like steroids to it, and then and then you got it, yeah. So and then yeah, so we have seven plugins now, and
Mm-hmm.
we have seven full off. So it's and it's growing still. So yeah, it's going well.
Amazing. And how long have you like how long have you guys been working at Divi Engine?
So I started Divi Engine 5 years ago,
5 years
and
ago.
then it was myself doing everything, and then slowly adding more members of staff. And yeah, so as I said, we've got guys all over the whole world in every single continent, pretty much. So yeah, it's a real diverse company, and the company, the sole focus is like on people though. So even though like all businesses is a business, but
Mm-hmm.
people is like our main focus. So whether it's like the team members, or whether
Uh-huh.
it's our customers, it's like the main focus is the people. And that's why I think Cosmos is actually quite good, because it creates that, um, you know, because we're all virtual, we can
Mm-hmm.
see each other, even if it's just an avatar, and then if you want to just pop in and just say hi to the person with the proximity chat, it's great
Mm-hmm.
because you can just do that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's good for building relationships in with the team,
With the team.
and
So this is
especially, sorry,
mhm.
just especially the
Yeah.
snowballs. I don't know if you guys are going to remove the snowballs, or if
No.
you will remove it, but the snowballs are like one of us having a meeting, and then one of our members, Fernando, he comes in and he just starts snowballing all of us in the meeting. So it's quite funny, and then the snowball fight breaks out, which you know we need to bring under control sometimes. But yeah, it's quite fun.
It's sometimes managers don't like that feature as much, but like for actual people, for us as well, happens that
Yeah,
somebody would come and just snowball, and then
and it just goes
hell
off.
breaks loose,
That's it.
in a good way, for a change, like people just express and have fun.
Well,
So
yeah, I think it's
mhm.
good for team morale. People, it's about having fun. And if people aren't having fun, and then it's just a boring job. You know?
Boring. Yeah, that's true. So Peter, like, wanted to kind of double down on this whole area as to like what problem Cosmos is solving for you and your team. Like, because right now where we are, we have to. People ask us point blank as to what problem does Cosmos solve. So if we were to be lazy and ask you the same question, and like, how would you explain what problem Cosmos solves to a friend who's maybe running another, say, um, company building tech tools? Like, what would you say to convince them?
I think for me, it solves the problem of team like team unity.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps us to be more unified.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Relationships. So like we can build relationships. Meetings. So we constantly have meetings with the different departments every day. So in just like 15 minutes, so it helps us to not have to, create meeting links, and it's everything's just here, and we have a different meeting room, so we just jump in there. Everybody knows when it's going to happen. So I think just generally, like the working, how the company works, it just helps with the flow of that and make it easier. It's
Mm-hmm.
also good to see when people are on and working. As a
Uh-huh.
business owner, it is good to see that, to make sure that, I mean, some people might forget to come on, and that's cool. Like, it's not like, you know we're not using it as that kind of a tool, but it's nice just to see the team members on there,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe seeing two guys chatting together. I enjoy seeing that. Yeah, and then we've also had games, like game time as a
Mm-hmm.
team,
Mm-hmm.
which is good for like building team morale. And we even have like our Christmas team time we had on here as well. And we did use an extra resource as well and pulled it in here. But anyway, it was nice because we had like a good time
Mm-hmm.
together here as well. So yeah, so it fills a lot. It basically makes, I guess, what we can have in an office,
Mm-hmm.
but virtually, without it being um, too like surreal. Like I was saying to you earlier, I don't really like the idea of virtual reality offices.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's not real life. Whereas this is like real life, and but it's a nice interim, like a happy medium between the two.
Between the two, and why is it that you don't like, or like, why not set up an office in, say, the Facebook metaverse, or the
Yeah.
Microsoft HoloLens, or their
Um,
platform?
I'm just a bit old fashioned, I just push against tech. Even though I'm a tech company, I push against tech because I just see the dangers of it,
Hmm.
too much, But that's just my own
Hmm.
personal conviction.
Hmm. And Peter, just to double click on the whole piece around all your meetings happening in one place, and it's easy. Before using Cosmos, how did your team come together? How do you guys do meetings? And did you
Yeah.
guys used to meet in real life, or like did you just work online with meeting tools? Just how did you used to work prior to Cosmos?
Yeah. So our team member, we're all over the whole world, so we've never
Mm-hmm.
actually like worked in one office, a physical office together.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I used to use different tools. One called appear.in was one I used, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
another called Jitsi. So I used to use those two,
Mm-hmm.
and just have a meeting link, and then you would just shoot the person a people used to know the times that the meetings would happen, but then
Mm-hmm.
often people would forget the times, and it just got it wasn't very organized. Whereas now, you know in theory, if you jump into Cosmos when you're working, and then if a meeting is about to take place and you forget, somebody could just come over and just shout at you, or like just ping you in Slack, and but you then you're there. You don't have to look for the meeting link. You just walk over. Do you know what I mean? So it's made it a lot easier for people who maybe like have forgotten meetings, or you know, or yeah, like just managing their own time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. And we've talked like a great deal about how how you felt and what problem you were solving for your team. Like, if we were to flip the question and um, all the other six people in your team, what do you like? What do they think about Cosmos, or what is their yeah? How do you think these your employees feel about Cosmos?
I think they enjoy it. Especially like the snow. I know we talk about the snowball, but especially the
Mm-hmm.
snowball stuff. A lot of the guys like that. The one guy actually you can see up there. His name's Jeff. He the other morning I came in and he wrote the words "hi" in in uh in the snowballs. So as I came in, he like wrote "hi." So like I think he enjoys that, and we used to play games more often. Recently, we actually haven't, so I probably need to get more into that. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, especially with meeting people online and not in a physical person, you need to build up a friendship, don't you? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So especially the battleships game, we really enjoyed. So we used to have battleship tournaments, and if we head over there, you'll see I'm top of the table. So
Ah,
yeah, yeah,
amazing. I'm glad. Battleship was the second game we built actually. So
that's the best one.
the first one was Pong. The second one was Battleship.
Yeah.
Um, in our team, we there was a Pong. Well, there is still. Abhi is the standing Pong champion, but um, I used to be that, and then Abhi took it over, and then I stopped playing Pong.
See, we haven't. Yeah, once he won, we haven't. I haven't played in a while because I think in the early stages there was a bit of a lag issue with some people who had bad internet. So then
Yeah,
they would like miss the ball, you know. So then we found that, the battleships is a brilliant game. We had a poker tournament the one time, and people enjoyed that as well. So yeah, so it's
amazing.
great.
And this is pretty cool. And Peter, while people are using Cosmos within your team, your employees, do you see um, different emotions at work, or are those meetings the same? Say, for example, the meetings were happening on Whereby versus Cosmos. Is the emotion in the room same, or has it changed? And if yes, how?
I don't really know if I'm honest because the
Hmm.
team has grown
Hmm.
uh, a lot since we had Cosmos. So before, and also the team structure. So we never used to have daily meetings before we started. Daily meetings was brought on probably about 4 months ago. So
Hmm.
a lot's changed. Um, but I can say that the team morale in general is
Hmm.
is better because we're seeing each other and we're interacting with each other
Hmm.
throughout the day.
Makes sense. And just give us a insight into like the cadence as to how regularly do you guys meet, and how do you communicate? Like, are those meetings all on Cosmos, or is there a um,
So we
calendar?
have like, have you ever heard of the methodology called Scrum?
Mm-hmm.
So we have our daily scrums here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a marketing scrum, a dev scrum, and a documentation scrum
Mm-hmm.
daily.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, I think the documentation's every second day, so it's not daily. But at one point it was daily, and then we have like our support once a week as well. So we
Mm-hmm.
have meetings pretty much every single day going on in Cosmos, and
Mm-hmm.
it's usually in this meeting room B. I don't know why we chose meeting room B. It just looks. I think I like what the plants that I put on the table. There's like little succulent plants, so I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why I like that meeting room B. So so we meet here daily,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and yeah.
Amazing. And I think we're down to the last, say, two or three questions which I have written up here. Again, on the whole piece of Cosmos, How would you so say you go out for a beer, a pint for with a friend who's running a similar company. How would you explain Cosmos to them?
So I have explained it to quite a few people,
Uh-huh.
and I do tell people about Cosmos. And as I said to you, we have been planning on writing a blog post article about Cosmos because we think it's great, and it's a great tool for companies to use. So
Mm-hmm.
how do I explain it? I say we have a virtual office, and
Mm-hmm.
I liken the graphics to like the old Pokemon games. And I say it's like you're walking around playing Pokemon, but it's like a virtual office. And I talk about proximity chat. That's such a key element to it, is that you have the proximity chat, so that if it's like a real office, if you're sitting across from somebody, you can talk to them, but then somebody in another section of the office, you won't talk to. And that's the key behind it, is that you have that, as well as the different meeting rooms, and then there's games as well, so we can play games together. So that's kind of how I talk about it, and people don't really understand, I think, until they actually see it, because they just
Yeah.
think, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it
Uh-huh.
makes sense when you see it.
Uh-huh. And who do you think is the right size customer for us? Of
I mean,
course,
size of employees, like the size
yeah,
of the
yeah.
company.
The kind of the companies and the size of the companies.
I mean, it works really well in our size, which is like to below 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know you have different size offices, so I wonder how it would work with bigger. But I don't see why not. You know what I mean? Because as I said, you have the proximity chat, you have the different meeting rooms. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't see how and actually. Um, we are planning on holding a virtual conference as well later on this year, using
Mm-hmm.
your conference room,
Mm-hmm.
and for all our customers. And so that's one of the things we're going to be planning on doing. So I guess I can give you a lot more feedback on how that goes, and
Definitely.
when there's hundreds of people on there,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I think we have about 10,000 customers at the moment. So I don't know how many would turn up to the conference, but I'd imagine over 100 would turn up. Um, so
That's cool. Yeah. For
that'll,
that, let us know. We can help you. Like, if you have any questions, we can help you set up. Amazing. And Peter, last question, or like at least the last one on my list, and then if I've missed anything, Abhi, please let me know. Or the
yeah.
Vyansh. So Peter, we talked about all the good things about Cosmos. What are the issues or problems or things that we should be working on solving, or still which you think are kind of sticking points in the product?
Yeah, I mean, what are the for the downsides? I can't really think of anything major that I have an issue with. There's things that I would like, and I think you do have the feature request section on your site, so I have added stuff, but I don't know how practical it is. Like, but like having music that everybody can listen to commonly,
Mhm.
but that's something that I thought would be cool. But I don't really know like legally how that would work with Spotify if you then you know. So there's obviously limitations that you guys have.
Mhm.
Uh, and I've been happy with the quality of the videos and the audio. So there's no issues with that. Uh, yeah,
You
there's
mentioned
nothing, there's
performance.
nothing really that sticks out to me that I think, oh, this is a real problem.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned performance earlier on, that you took out certain Christmas decorations because they were slowing things down.
Yeah, so I mean, look, I went crazy with the Christmas decorations and had like snow trails, and the whole office was like crazy.
Uh-huh.
And people who had a weaker internet,
Uh-huh.
it affected them more than myself. So I didn't see any performance issues, but other people had slight issues, and I think it's probably down to their internet where they were,
Mm-hmm.
uh, more than anything.
Yeah, on that one, actually, we now have put in a setting for so if you go to settings and performance, there is a settings for each individual client to change.
Disable
uh,
map decorations, I can
yeah,
see.
disable map decorations, because one of our other customers, they created this. So back in the day, we used to have this feature where with a tree, you would have the tree sound, as in birds chirping. And there was this customer who like filled up their office with trees,
Oh my
and then
word.
they created a thing which they called the forest of silence. Because there were so many trees, we were creating so many audio. There's this thing called audio context in Chrome land, and Chrome has a limit of the number of audio contexts it can hold. And after that, Cosmos would just go silent. Everything would go silent. So it was called the Forest of Silence. So yeah, I'm glad that you actually had fun with the whole map decoration um, piece.
I did have issues creating my own. I know you have an option to upload your own. So like I uploaded just a PNG version of our logo to try and like create one, and it never worked. So that's something that hasn't actually worked for me.
Oh no, okay, awesome. So that we'll troubleshoot after
Yeah.
the recording, like after we finish the interview. Abhi, is there anything you'd want to ask or add?
No, just well, just curious to understand one quick thing. So
Hmm.
when your team is in the office, Peter, how do they tend to use it? Like, in terms of, are people using, just the meeting rooms, or are people sitting on their co-working desks? Uh,
Yeah. So yeah. So as you can see, I have one member of staff who's up the top, um, in that section over there, and that section above at the meeting room B is kind of like our like focusing section. So he's just focusing there. We have the different tables that people would go on, and yeah. So we, in fairness, we tend to sit like at separate kind of desks, really, because most of the time we're working, right? We're not like just socializing,
Hmm.
and we do have the focusing. I understand the focusing is available, but that's just naturally how we just do it, And then we'll walk over to the person and then chat to them if we need to ask a few questions, and then we'll then or just go to the meeting room for the meetings. And then what I'll do is when I go for lunch or if I'm making a cup of tea, I head over to the kitchen area, mark myself unavailable, and then I'll go make a cup of tea, I come back, and then I'll move myself back onto the desk. I don't know. It's something stupid, but that's what I do.
Yeah, we also do uh, the same thing. Awesome. That brings us to the end. I think it's been a pleasure learning how you use Cosmos Beta, and thanks for taking the time out. I'm just gonna press the stop button.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.